Man, what a performance in that second half. They played with a high level of intensity defensively, really just locked down everything that Auburn was getting. They weren't able to penetrate and get inside. And how about T Mark, man? I've been talking about him all year in a breakout game at this time. In one of my group chats, somebody said he T March. And I like that. I like T
Yeah,
March because he came up big last time he played in March, and he came up big today. And so it was great to see. He didn't settle for the three. He drove inside, got to his mid-range. And that's what makes Sampson great. If you're a guard and you want to come to Houston and you start cooking, Coach Sampson go ISO you every time. Drop four and let's cook, let's work. And he went to work, man. So great job by Sampson, recognizing who's hot, giving the players in their spots. And I'm so happy for Tramon Mark because I know he had that in him. He just been playing within the role, within the offense, and Coach Sampson been challenging him to do all the little things, in which he did that today with rebounding and defending. Now he just got loose offensively and just kind of showed the world what he's capable of.
exactly. We touched on it Thursday. We wanted him to get to the line. Check. 8 for 9 from the free throw line. 8 for 8 in the second half. 20 of his career high 26 points came in the second half. He was 6 for 9 from the floor in the second half. He carried the team when Marcus Sass and Jamal Shedd went to the bench with 4 fouls. The Cougs stretched the lead. It was a 3-point lead when they got in foul trouble with those 4 fouls, headed to the bench. T. March said, it's okay. So it was a great win for the Cougs on to Kansas City. And if anybody's wondering, where's Andy? Where is Andy? I guess we could say it's not a secret. He had to leave pretty much immediately after the game because he is flying back with the man himself, Mattress Mac. So we're going to be giving you the show tonight on Let's Rage Cougs. Andy may try to join us via audio if he can at some point in the next hour, but it's going to be me, Dayon, and Aqib talking about this great Houston victory. And it was a road win. Aqib, you said it in the previous Let's Rage Cougs show that Cougs are still undefeated on the road. Right, sir?
They are. They still are. And, hey, in the second half, that ended up being a home game. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
The way it sounded like at least on my TV screen, it was loud and it was in favor of Houston. So I'm so proud of this team and the amazing work that Coach Sampson and his coaching staff has done.
And it was great because the first half, we'll talk about that in a second. But one good thing about being on, quote unquote, the road team is once you get the momentum going, that crowd is like, shh, they're just silent. What can they say? They're like, I can't believe this is happening. Well, y'all saw it firsthand. Y'all saw that butt whipping the Cougs put on there in the second half. So let's talk about the overall, 12 block shots? Jared Swan just swatting everything left and right.
Left and right.
It was just great to see. It was a lot of weak side block shots. They were just coming over. Because down, we touched on this a few times. You mentioned a lot this season. One issue that the Cougs have had trouble with is keeping guards out of the paint. And the first half, Auburn just carved up the Cougs like 22 paint points. It was just, it was anti-Houston defense in that first half. I would have loved the Coach Sampson said to the guys at halftime. We can guess. I'm sure it had a lot of choice words challenging the youngsters' intestinal fortitude, whatever phrase cliche you want to use, but they came out much more aggressive in the second half and they played Cougar defense. There was some fouls. That's okay because they were being aggressive. Yeah. But just what did Auburn? Auburn made like 4 buckets in the second half, something like that.
Yeah, they struggled. You could tell.
4 for 24 in the second half. 4 for 24 in the second half from the floor, man.
And 0 for 5 from 3. They couldn't buy it. They couldn't buy a bucket.
They couldn't make free throws. They couldn't make twos. Coogs said, "Thank you very much," and then Tramon Mark took over. But Dan, you got it, man. What do you want to talk about?
We could go with the block shots in the defense because I think that's what turned the game. I think with the way they picked up the intensity, started with they first threw the ball in, the way Jamal guarded Green and he pressed them, and you could tell the defensive and the focus on the defense really went up to another level, and they were really swarming and not allowing any easy looks because, like you just said, it was a lot of easy looks they're able to drive in the first half. In the second half, that's what turned the tide on the defense. And I mean, all the young guys really stepped up, and especially in the absence, although they didn't really score, they were able to defend and keep the ball in front of them to keep the momentum and allow Tramon and the defense to do what they did in the second half. But Jarris, man, he looked different out there. I mean, I loved his aggression. I love everything he played with, from rebounding to block shots. A couple of his block shots was on ball. He was guarding the ball and got beat, but he had the athleticism to block the shot. And so I love the game that he played today. I still think he could have got more touches, a bit more aggressive, and had a bigger impact on the game. But he was stellar today. J1 was a monster. He had 5 blocks, so he was swatting everything. And so the defense was there. I love how Jamal pick and chooses his spots when to be aggressive. He got timely buckets. But Marcus, man, he was spectacular, especially early in the second half and then stretches in the first half. And so it was good to see him be able to play the entire game. But he made some big momentum plays to get Houston back in the game and then tie the game. And so he was just as impactful as Tramon, and Tramon kind of picked up that torch and carried it out of the game. But Marcus, he was the All-American. He was the piece that we needed today, especially offensively, especially creating for himself, being able to beat the defense with that step-back jumper. Man, it was a beautiful display to see our guards really play like they did today. And really the whole team.
And Aqib, I want to get your thoughts on this. It's, to me, the Cougs were down 10 at halftime, not playing Coug basketball. But those first 4 minutes of the second half, they got after it. They played Coug basketball on the boards, defensively. Marcus Sasser hitting those step-back shots. And before you know it, they were down 2. And I kind of sensed it was just a matter of time. Just a matter of time.
Yeah.
What do you think about it in the second half?
I actually thought at halftime we were good. I'm not like I
wasn't worried.
I wasn't worried, and even if we had lost, I would have thought we're going to put up a fight second half anyways. Because the first half they were 4 for 10 or 5 for 11 from the 3, and we said this last show that this is not a good 3-point shooting team, and this is not a good free throw shooting team. And they were still 4 for 10 from the free throw line. So I thought, okay, even if we send them to the free throw line, they're gonna miss some easy ones. But it really came down to, of course, like what Dayon had mentioned, was that defense. And then Sasser he was cooking that first half. I know Tramon, he took over in the second half or most of that second half, but Sasser's really, like, offensively, he just sparked a fire.
He could have went for 30. He didn't get in foul trouble. He would have had one of those spectacular type games. He didn't get in foul trouble. He could have went for 30. But then this is a good point that it kept kind of Auburn in the game, was the way the refs called the game and so many fouls. Auburn missed so many free throws, so they kind of shot themselves out of the game. But early on in that second half, when Houston got in the bonus, I think it was around 9 minutes, it was still kind of close, and that kind of kept them in the game. And so one thing I will say is at least they were consistent. Houston got some of those same fouls and was able to go to the free throw line and make it. And so at least they were consistent. But Houston definitely has to stop fouling. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it because Auburn missed. But at the same time, we can't foul like that, man. That's something we cannot do. It hurt us against Villanova when we couldn't make shots. This time we got players who could actually get buckets.